This is the case of Phillip Chism and why he murdered his math teacher, Colleen Ritzer. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching. They did an investigation. Authorities executed a search warrant. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching. Phillip Chism was born January 21st, 1999. And in the fall of 2013, Chism had recently moved from Tennessee to Danvers, Massachusetts, where he wasn't well known at school except for being an awesome soccer player. It was also said that when Chism was seen, he would be antisocial with the other students, but he would also be really tired and out of it. Him being seen to be tired and out of it all the time makes me wonder, was he on drugs? And if so, what type of drugs? And why was he doing drugs? But also, during me researching this case, I found out that his mom was reportedly going through a divorce at this time. So this could have been the reason why he was always so tired and out of it, because he was so concerned about what was going on with his mom at home. He really didn't have a chance to get a good night's rest, maybe, but I'm still leaning towards the side of him being on drugs, and if so, what type of drugs. Now, the sad part about this is, if you look at this photo here of Phillip, you can see that he is very, very young. And at the time of this crime, he was only 14 years old. The victim, Miss Colleen Ritzer, was aged 24 at the time of her death, and she was loved by the faculty and her students. One struggling math student told the reporter that she helped all of her students when they were struggling, and she didn't make you feel like you were dumb or anything. She loved helping her students, and she really made you feel like you wanted to go to math class. Now, I don't know about you, but many teachers that I have worked with, they were nowhere near this caring and understanding in high school anyway. They were really brutal to students. On the day that this crime occurred, Miss Ritzer had told Phillip that, he's really good at drawing, or she commented about his drawing and how good he was. And then she also commented about him moving from Tennessee to Danvers. And so she asked him to stay after school. But before this, when she mentioned him moving from Tennessee to Danvers, one student said he became visibly upset and changed the subject. And after that, she commented on how good his drawing was. And she also asked him to stay after school so she could help him with an upcoming math test that they were going to have. I guess because his grades weren't that good in math, and she knew that, and she didn't want him to fail the next test. And she wanted him to, succeed in her class. One student said that they saw him after he became upset about her mentioning his move from Tennessee to Danvers. Not only did he become upset, but he began talking to himself. Now, this is where I say the drugs might come into play, or he could have possibly been having some sort of mental issue and he wasn't being treated for it as well. And that's why he was talking to himself, but I still don't believe that a mental issue is what caused him to commit this crime. Now, this is where I say he has to be either the dumbest criminal alive, or he just was inexperienced, because thankfully he'd never done anything like this before, as far as we know. But this is why I say he has to be one of, if not the dumbest criminal alive. And the reason I feel this way, it talks about it in the article, and I'm going to read to you exactly what they said happened. And the only reason I'm reading this to you is because it is so crazy that I don't want to leave out any parts or miss any details in this story, so that you can possibly imagine it the way I saw it in my head, or either just think the same thing I was thinking when I was reading this, because it is crazy. On the morning of October 22nd, 2013, the Danvers High School's newly installed security camera system showed 14-year-old Chism arriving at school with several bags, which he placed into his locker. Contained within his bags were a box cutter, a mask, gloves, and a change of clothing. Now, that right there is to start. It should let you know that this was premeditated. The article goes on to say, according to the New York Times, the school security footage showed Ritzer exiting the classroom toward the second floor women's bathroom at around 2:54 p.m. Chism can then be seen walking into the hallway, looking her way, then ducking back into the classroom and re-emerging with his hood over his head. Trailing Ritzer, Chism pulled on gloves as he entered the same bathroom. Chism proceeded to rob Ritzer of her credit cards, iPhone, and her underwear before raping and stabbing her 16 times in the neck with the box cutter. A female student entered the bathroom at one point, but glimpsing someone partially unclothed with a pile of garments on the floor, she quickly left, thinking that they were getting changed. And that right there should let you know that he had to know what he was doing, and later you'll see why I say that he had to know what he was doing. Chism appeared in several different outfits throughout the crime, which police later said showed how he'd planned the murder in advance. At 3:07 p.m., Chism left the bathroom with a hood over his head and walked outside to the parking lot. When he came back in 2 minutes later, he was wearing a new white t-shirt. That's one reason, among many others, why I say that he knew what he was doing. But the article goes on to then say, Chism then went back into the classroom in a different red hooded sweatshirt over his head, then returned to the bathroom at 3:16 p.m. pulling a recycling bin. He reemerged in the hallway with the white t-shirt and a black mask, pulling the bin with Ritzer's body toward an elevator and then outside of the school. And that's another reason why I think he knew what he was doing, because he was smart enough not to carry her out. He went and got a recycling bin to move her body. If he didn't plan this murder, which I really think he did, because how would he know where to get a recycling bin from and that it was going to be there when he went to go get it? So that shows me that he had to plan this within the span of a few days in order to know that that recycling bin was going to be there when he went back to get it in the commission of his crime. He dragged the bin all the way to the wooded area behind the school, where he raped Ritzer's lifeless body again with a tree branch. Cameras then picked Chism up coming back into the school wearing a black shirt and glasses and carrying a pair of bloody jeans, completing his macabre fashion show. Now, I think he knew exactly what he was doing, because how would you have the wherewithal to change your outfit several times, to use a recycling bin to, carry this person's body, out to a wooded area? But the article goes on to say, when neither Chism nor Ritzer were seen after school, they were both reported missing. After speaking with students and staff at the school, police found blood in the bathroom, Ritzer's bag, the bloody recycling bin, and Ritzer's bloodied clothing near the cross-country path woods behind the school. By 11:45 p.m., the CCTV footage acquired showed Chism pulling a recycling bin, but also he was later caught using Ritzer's credit card to buy a movie ticket and then left the theater to steal a knife from another store nearby. He was walking along a darkened highway outside Danvers when he was stopped by police on a routine safety call at 12:30 a.m. Now, what is a child that young doing out at 12:30 a.m.? But the article goes on to say a frisk search of Chism for identification turned up Ritzer's credit cards and her driver's license. Chism was taken to the local police station where his backpack was searched, and Ritzer's purse and underwear were found alongside the box cutter covered with dried blood. According to court documents, when Chism was asked whose blood what it was, he said it's the girl's. When asked if he knew where she was, he chillingly replied, "She's buried in the woods." At 3 a.m., police discovered the gruesome sight of Ritzer's half-naked body covered with leaves near a pair of stained white gloves. A branch had to be pulled from her vagina, and a folded handwritten note lay nearby, worded, "I hate you all." Phillip Chism was indicted for the murder, aggravated rape, and armed robbery of Colleen Ritzer. He was tried as an adult, and on February 26, 2016, he was sentenced to serve at least 40 years in prison. After this happened, I think he possibly and hopefully got psychiatric care, because if he didn't and they let him out possibly in 40 years, even though he'll be an elderly man by then, he still will be healthy enough to move and run around, so he'd still be healthy enough to commit a crime if someone makes him upset enough again. But I still do not know what possessed this person or this man or young man to rape his math teacher, also murdering her. I'm pretty sure a bad grade is not that serious. But guys, that brings me to the end of this video. As always, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.